Hi guys, and welcome to another video. We're out here in the Tangle today, and we're going to be starting this quest chain, hopefully finishing it with this Justicar Navid. This is a pretty cool quest chain. It's quite similar for me in how cool it is to the one we did in the previous video, so I'm not going to start this one off with lots of ado, we're just going to jump straight into it. So here's the Justicar right out here next to Xingji Sherman, who says something different. Oh yeah, he tags along. Yeah, I did show you you guys this in the Let's Play, so he'll come along with us if we want. And we can speak to Justicar and see what he has to say. So why the White Mantle here? Here's how it is. You know about the unseen ones? That's what the White Mantle called the Mursaat. We thought them gods. I think they thought themselves divine as well, until the Titans nearly wiped them out. So this quest chain is to do with the Mursaat, and it talks quite a lot, so it's quite heavily based on what we saw in Prophecies. So just as a very quick recap for you guys, we had the White Mantle in Kryta, who believed in the Mursaat and was sacrificing people called the Chosen to the Mursaat, and the Mursaat needed these people to be sacrificed, essentially, to keep these creatures called the Titans at bay behind a door. We came along, said to the Mursaat, hey, no, you can't sacrifice these people, stop them sacrificing them by force. The Titans, these things that the Mursaat were holding, got released, and pretty much the entire race of the Mursaat were completely wiped out, and the White Mantle, the people who worshipped these unseen ones, were left without their gods. But the White Mantle do still exist, as we'll see a lot after Eye of the North, but this quest chain's following up from that, from the last we saw of the Mursaat, okay? So one of the few survivors, Lazarus the Dyer, cursed me, so I ran, and I'm trying to remove that curse using a book called the Grimoire Arcanum. The search brought me here, but I was too late. One of my former brothers in the White Mantle got here first and snatched the book. If I don't get that book back, I'm doomed. What say, will you help a brother who is trying to get back on the right side of righteousness? Alright, okay, sure. So he doesn't believe in being a White Mantle anymore, and he's trying to be good, but he's got this problem, okay? He's got this curse. So the path to righteousness is of this way. Alright, let's go. So this quest is actually kind of cool. You can skip it quite easily. It says to go all the way over here in the Tangle. Just map to Ratasum. It might not seem like you can do this, and I'm sure that ArenaNet didn't intend for people to do this, but you can just map to Ratasum. And then you can walk directly south through the Magus Stones, and you'll appear much quicker at the place that you need to be. So I'll probably cut this walk out, since I'm pretty sure we saw this last video, didn't we? Or something very similar to this quite recently. So I'll see you guys in a second. I'm literally just walking south. Whew. Oh man, I managed to skip a hell of a lot of monsters there, and nobody died, and I'm really shocked that actually worked out. Okay, so we're back out here in the Tangle, and as you can see, we can come just down here. The reason why a lot of people don't think that you can do this is because you've got to pick up an item and bring it back to the Justicar that we got the quest from, but so you'd assume that you can't map out, you know, like with bundle items, but it turns out it's not a bundle item, and that doesn't matter at all. So you can genuinely... Oh, these guys are annoying. This patrol here, every time I come into this area and try and run past, if you're quick enough, if you've got someone with like full back, you'll tend to find you run past and they just come in and sweep in on you from behind all the time. Seriously, when I've been playing through this sort of off camera recently, getting through with everyone, my healers just keep dying to this one group. And I think this is the really annoying thing about the Tarnished Haven. I like that monsters patrol around like that a lot, but it is annoying especially when you're vanquishing. Like long patrols like that are just the worst thing in the world when you're trying to vanquish a lot. Anyway, right, so here we got lots of White Mantle. These are the ones that stole the Grimoire. Now, this quest chain doesn't actually talk about where the Grimoire comes from. It just explains that it's a magical book with the answer to getting rid of this curse that the Mursaat's put on this guy. We learn a lot more about the curse itself, but not much about the book. So I don't know why the book's here in Asuran territory or where it came from. It just all you know is that the Mursaat... Like, could it have been here? I mean, what is this little place? It's pretty cool here, isn't it? What you do, you can see there's a chest there, just a regular chest, no lock on it or anything. It's like when the game first came out. Apparently, chests like that used to be all over the game. You just used to get crap all inside them. So they changed the chest later to have keys and stuff, or they were only in pre-steering or something, and then they added keys and put them all over the world. Anyway, so there you go. It says quest updated, turning the page. You can click the chest. I love the quest name for this, by the way. It's brilliant. And you click it, and you may have to pause that, but I think it just says inside you find the Grimoire Arcanum, and you can then just map back to the Tarnished Haven. And voila, there you go. So yeah, that's the book. That's the first bit of this quest chain. The quest chain's got about 6 quests, if I remember rightly. They're all pretty simple. It's not like last video where we were doing the same thing every single time. So from gameplay, this is probably a better one. But the funny thing is, on this one, you don't get, I don't think, any skills, any Asura skills at all. I would have much preferred it if this quest chain got people the skills rather than the other one. But I guess this quest chain, for players that never played Prophecies, who'd only played Factions or Nightfall, and I guess this goes for you viewers as well, this quest chain might not mean as much to you because you don't know as much about the Mursaat or the White Mantle or any of that cool stuff. Because really that's what the entire thing was about, the Flame Seeker Prophecies. And this little quest chain actually goes into sort of the aftermath of it, which is really cool because we haven't seen it at all until now. This is it! I can only hope the magic contained within this can provide a cure. It's no simple curse I am under, friend. Lazarus the Dire hid from the Titans by breaking himself into aspects and infusing them into me and my friends. We thought it was a gift of power, but we were merely used to ensure the survival of Lazarus. Now that someone has dealt with the Titans, Lazarus has become restoring himself, reclaiming those aspects. Unfortunately, claims the life of the host. I am the last one, and that is a fate I am not eager to share. So there's this brilliant story potential here that you never really see in the quest chain of what happened to all of his White Mantle friends and sort of how he became infused with Lazarus and stuff. So he's actually got an aspect of a Mursaat within him. Might as well mention as well, Lazarus the Dire is a Mursaat we've met before. In the bonus mission pack, as we were going through Prophecies, when we saw the rise of Saul D'Alessio, it was during that mission there, you could actually see 3 very powerful Mursaat were in it at the end, and they were the people that saved Kryta from the Char invasion, and Lazarus the Dire was one of them, and he's a very, very important Mursaat, as we'll see by the end of this quest chain. Like, super important. The other 2 Mursaat that were in that bonus mission pack, we've already killed. They were the last, one of them at least. One of them, you might remember me talking about it. All Mursaat have got like a title, so like Lazarus the Dire. The other one that was in the bonus mission pack was called Mursaat the Smug, okay, and we killed her right on the second to last mission. And then the very last Mursaat we ever killed in Prophecies was a really kind of weird Mursaat called Optimus Caliph, who doesn't have a title, so it's like, I think that maybe Optimus Caliph could have been the leader of the Mursaat, but we've already killed 2 of them, and now Lazarus is the only one we know of left. He's not the only Mursaat left alive in total, but we've met all 3 of them before and killed 2 of them. He's the last one left to kill, essentially, but he's out there and he's infused himself in these Mursaat. Anyway, right, so Tom Bluid, it's good to see you. Well, so let's imagine some time has passed. I wish I could say the same for myself. The knowledge behind this grimoire is beyond my comprehension. There is hope, however. There is a particularly brilliant Asura named Glavin who has been seen wandering nearby. I've had trouble getting Asura to talk to me before, but I've got a plan to convince Glavin to help. Meet me in Riven Earth when you've piqued his curiosity. Okay, I'll lure that Asura in. So I quite like this question as well because we're actually working alongside the Mursaat, which we haven't seen for a long time. Like, one of my favourite moments of Prophecies, and you kind of have to use your imagination a little bit, I tend to find with Guild Wars, where it's not great at telling its story. This is something that is always so important to me because there's a good story that it's telling, it's just that the game itself is bad at telling stories, because the only way it can do it is through really crappy low budget cutscenes, as we had the joy of seeing in Factions, and loads of walls of text, which is what hopefully I'll make it more engaging by reading out loud in this Let's Play. So, but the story itself is quite good. So I can imagine, like, the example I'm given here is with the White Mantle. The first time we ever met them, when we were in that dark cave and we needed help getting through, and a couple of them came along with us. That was so cool working along with the Mursaat like that. And during all the Krytan stuff before they turned out to be the bad guys, as it were, it was all really cool, and sort of now we've come back to see this, which is pretty sweet. So another thing in the quest chain that people do, and this is a nice little tip for you guys, lifted straight from Wiki, is the quest marker appears there. You might be tempted to walk all the way up there and go through that. It's just quicker to come here from Ratassoum, because you come to this quest marker and then you have to go up there anyway, so it's like if you come from Ratassoum, you're going to kill the monsters here, you don't have to kill them on your way back, so it does turn out to be a little bit faster. Shit, we've aggroed 2 groups. Are we dying? Oh, really? Why are we dying like this? Angadorans, they're really dangerous. You know the build I used to complete all of the Underworld? It was a real pleasure playing through all of Eye of the North off camera on Matt Greenspring, because I could just use that build the whole way through, and oh, it was amazing. We just, every single thing, we just stormed through everything so quickly. There were all these brilliant little moments. Like, for instance, you know what I was talking about when we were with Peter Redhill in the Char Homelands and we were Spring Empire's Warband. You know the final boss down there with the 2 flame effigies on the side? And I went on that little bit of a rant about how it seems really difficult to kill Burnt Soul himself before... Was it Burnt Soul there, or was it a different Char? I think it was a different Char. But how it's really difficult to kill that Char without... by just sort of charging him and ignoring the effigies. With the Underworld build, when I did that, I ran through and I killed the boss so quickly, the effigies didn't even have time to spawn, so they were still just stood there as statues. And we'd completely finished the mission and the countdown was loading to load us back into the outpost, and the effigies hadn't even activated, and they were just sort of stood there and you could go along to them and inspect them. It was really cool. But yeah, but even still, even with all that power and just absolutely blowing through everything, the Angadorans, when I was doing this arc here, Angadorans were still managing to get kills on things every now and then, just because of their skill twisting fangs. Like the dinosaurs, when they use that, they're really dangerous. It's a shame that the Ferrothoraxes, the Tyrannosaurus Rexes, if you will, if you want to call them that, don't use it, but yeah. I'm actually quite impressed with how my team's been... Oh, Suru's dead. Sorry, Suru. See, if that was Corey, I probably would have ignored it, but there we go. Come on, Suru. Do we have to kill those raptors? I'm going to try and dodge them. I don't think... See, what we're doing... We're meeting the Justicar now. We're meeting Naveed, and he'll talk to us about his little plan. I don't think you have... I don't think it's like escort, and you've got to keep him alive, otherwise it's quest failed. None of these quests that we're doing here are going to be master difficulty until the very last one. Which can be a little bit tricky if I remember rightly, but it's also a defend quest, so I've kind of got the joy of just being able to cut it all out if I have to. Anyway, so here he is. He says, if the only thing a genius values is knowledge, then that's what we'll give him. I'll carry the grimoire. We'll go to where he was last seen. When we get there, I'll find a spot to set a trap. Find a meeting place. Then I'll drop the book in the middle of the meeting spot. I'm certain that Asura will come along. He'll take the bait. He'll take the offering. Then I'll offer an exchange. He can keep the book in return for helping me out. Not bad, eh? Let's go. Yeah, it's okay. A little bit tricksy. You don't think the Asura will see through that, no, Naveed? What's Naveed's default intro dialogue? I forget. We spend our entire lives with eyes cast forward and yet fail to notice what lies at our feet. You never realise what you have until you lose it. What he's saying there's so many like variations of that in the real world, and it's pretty cool, isn't it? The icon here, you see countless times, the actual model that he's holding there. I think the first time you see it, it's like supposed to be like a book from Orr, back in Prophecies. Oh, here we go. Yeah, but what he's saying there, people always talk about, like... It's quite funny, because sometimes you always hear people like sayings like that, and people are like, oh, you've got to live in the moment. No, don't spend too long planning for the future. And then you get other people that have all these sayings that are about, oh, you got to take it slow, you got to plan. And it's like society really doesn't know which one it agrees with more. I've got to be honest. Just cruise along. That's what I say. Don't think too much, and you'll be fine. But then again, I'm not much of an intellectual. Wait, lockpick. Here we go. Yeah, so we'll keep going. I thought actually as you walked along it triggered the extra bits of dialogue, so I thought I'd be able to have stuff to talk about on the whole walk back, but probably not. So I'll just speed it up. We'll zoom along. Man, I love the look of Ratasum in the distance. With the big floating upside down pyramids. Alright, here we are, back at the entrance to Ratasum, and once again, we're coming back up here. There are actually like tips and stuff on Wiki of good quests that you can do sort of in tandem, and doing the quest we saw last episode actually works out quite well here, because you can come here and do them sort of together with the Duena thing. But yeah, we're going to come up here now, and this is where usually spiders spawn, like you can see their webs in the trees and stuff. Man, these trees, well, not when you look up, it kind of loses the magic there, but looking at the trees like this, it's the kind of thing that I'd always want to climb. I remember when they first announced Guild Wars 2, some of the features they were saying, like they were so ambitious with Guild Wars 2 at first, and one of the things they really wanted to do was like climb trees and stuff, and add all this kind of verticality to the combat, and all skills would have multiple uses at different times. This probably isn't the best time for me to be talking about this. Justicar Naveed says, the trap is set, we need to hide, follow me. Oh, shit, let's go over here. Oh, so here's Glaven. He says, here's an interesting pattern in the ether weave. If it was shifted like this... I can't actually see him. He should be over there where we just dropped the book down. Having a little bit of a stroll. It's fun to see what Asura could be talking about as they're walking around. Yeah, but like this was one of the things ArenaNet used to talk about, climbing trees, and I don't know whether it's a shame that it's not there anymore, because that would have been really weird, difficult feature to get into the game, and I'm glad they focused on better things, but still. Sometimes I do feel the compulsion to climb a tree. Anyway, sorry, right, Glaven speaking. Right, he says, "Hello, what do we have here? What's that you say, little book? You're homeless? Can knowledge even be knowledge if it has no thoughts to exist in? I'll just be taking you along with me. Wait, what's this? How curious. I seem to be immobilized. Some sort of diabolically clever ensnarement device." So Justicar Naveed stands forward and he says, "You're the one called Glaven, correct?" And he says, "And you must be one of the most obnoxious of all the voices in my head. What do you want?" "Something that I think will interest you. I'll let you keep that book in exchange for your services. Show off your superior abilities for me." "It's true, I am superior. I can see patterns that others miss. What would you have me do?" "You must remove my curse, the likes of which has never been seen. Only you possess the talent required." "A challenge then! A challenge! Oh, excites me. Very well, I accept your offer." It's a shame Glaven looks like such a generic Asura, but I guess on the other hand that's kind of cool that he looks like a generic Asura, because really him thinking he's this superior being that's super smart and can handle any challenge is basically what all Asura are like. Anyway, what does he say?
"You need me?"
He doesn't actually have any intro dialogue for us. We can speak to Justicar Naveed again, though, for the quest reward, and he says, "I thank you again for your help. Now, please leave me with Glaven. I expect his analysis will not come quickly, or pleasantly, at least for me. Next time I see you, I'll bear better news." Alright, well, I hope so, man. Good luck with your curse. And I'll see you next time. See you later. Alright, guys, that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed this look at... No, it's not the end of the episode. Zone out, go back to the Tarnished Haven and the Tangle outside of the Haven, and you'll see he's got more stuff to say to us. Which is a shame, because whenever I see this happen, it happens too much in Guild Wars, but it's like a broken link in the middle of a really cool quest chain, and can you just imagine how many thousands of people have well, the game's not that popular, but I mean, when we're talking about 6 million sales, probably about 5 million if you don't include people buying all accounts and stuff. Well, mind you, a million extra accounts might be a bit much, but anyway, a lot of people probably miss this, and it's a shame to think of. But you can come back out, and Naveed's here, and he's got another quest for us, and Xingji's Sherman's here as well.
"I've heard much of you."
Who wants to go on his sexy expose of the adventures? Anyway, right, so he says, "Tom Bluewood, it's fitting you should be here to witness this. Glaven has finally figured out how to remove that accursed aspect of the Unseen One from me. He's almost ready to begin the ritual. You know, I wouldn't have made it this far if not for you. Why don't you stay and see this through?" Alright, I've come this far, I might as well stay until the end. So I think the decline there was, sorry, I've spent too much time doing this already. So Glaven actually appears out here now, and I think he appears here permanently, I want to say. We'll check at the end of the video after you've completed this quest chain. So here he is. He says, preparations must be made. It's almost ready. The patterns are nearly aligned. Do the voices in my head say they're ready? Alright, you guys ready to try and get this aspect of a Mursaat out of this human? Insidious Remnants. Preparations. The voices, we are ready to begin the ritual. The voices say, wait for a little longer. No, we're going to do it. Your entire party will be moved. So this takes place in a little like quest instance, which actually takes place in the Tarnished Haven outpost. Something cool about this is if you want to map out the Tangle, come to this quest, and you can walk through the portal. It won't load you anywhere, and you can map out the whole quest, the whole place, and it's completely free of enemies, which is very cool. So you can do that if you want. But here's Justicar Naveed, and Glaven should be about as well. There he is. So we go. Concentrate. This requires my full attention. Quiet. All you voices, look for the patterns. I must focus. Ah, I feel something. Something is changing. I love the spell effect here. I don't think you see that anywhere else in the game. Wait, this doesn't feel right. Shouldn't that be spinning around Naveed? Surely. The aspect manifests, and it's angry. You must quell its rage quickly before all is lost. Dun 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 dun! And there we go. There's an aspect of Lazarus. Now this thing can't use spectral agony, so he's not quite as dangerous as the rest of the Mursaat. But this is a Mursaat, guys, and he's disappeared, so I can't examine his corpse for you. But there you go. Glaven says, incomprehensible. The aspect cannot be removed. Cannot. But we have changed it somehow. Its pattern is different. I must examine this further. Oh, what have you done? What have you done, Glaven? Oh God. So back out into the Tangle. Can we not get rid of this Mursaat out of Naveed? Don't forget that it can, when Lazarus himself, don't forget he split himself into multiple aspects. He's already taken those aspects back out of the other White Mantle that were infused. So there is a real Lazarus out there somewhere, and he's going to try and find Naveed eventually and take it. And remember what he said at the start, that if Lazarus reclaims the host from Naveed, the host will die. Naveed will die if he gives himself up to Lazarus, the real Lazarus. No, this it can't be. I've come so far. I fought so long and hard, believing that if I just persevered that there would be a way through this. And now I find that no matter how hard I struggle, I am bound to a fate I cannot escape, like a scarecrow strung up in the carrion fields. I wonder if this is how the Chosen felt, bounded upon the blood zone, unable to focus on anything except the axe, swinging like a pendulum, cutting their time short. Pardon me, friend, I need some time alone to think. This quest chain is so dark, I really, really like it. It's just such a shame that Guild Wars isn't... Because I honestly can imagine, there's enough depth here and different strings to be elaborated on to have something like this actually become a film. And it probably is very similar to a film that exists. And it's just a shame that, it probably doesn't affect people as emotionally as a story that's written like this has been written probably could. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, he says, I've been thinking since we last spoke, Tom. Glaven claims that we've altered the aspect of Lazarus trapped inside me and somehow corrupted it. He feels that if Lazarus obtains the aspect in this state, it will most certainly harm him. That may be our only chance. Lazarus was among the most powerful of the unseen ones. He was one of those 3 powerful ones, as I said, that we saw with Saul D'Alessio, who basically destroyed all the Char on their own that invaded Kryta. We need to lure him into a trap, even if that means I have to make myself the bait in the process. The White Mantle is gathering at Magus Stones. I need your help. So I'm not quite sure if you guys know what this guy's saying here, but he'll elaborate on it soon. But it's very grim. Okay, so for the greater good.